What's up, you guys? Okay, today I'm gonna spend the next 20 or so minutes, I don't know, maybe more, working on two things that I'm not very good at. Doing a neutral grip push-up on these parallettes is it's has always been difficult for me, and I like to do push-ups and bench work or bench press. Not necessarily to get my chest big. I'm kind of beyond those years, but more for my shoulder mobility and to integrate my pushing muscles with my core and the anterior chain musculature, if I may define that as my abs, my hip flexors, and my quads. Um, so what I'm gonna do here, if you struggle with just regular push-ups, hopefully some of the principles I'm gonna go over as I struggle to get down into this neutral grip push-up could be helpful and possibly applicable to your practice of the push-up as well. By the way, this is literally my workout. This is not meant as a tutorial or instructional video. This is literally my workout, and I'm just going to explain what I do. It's not necessarily what I recommend other people do. And I'm not saying that what I'm doing here is better or more correct than what anyone else would be doing out there. This is just for your information on how I structure my literal workout. Okay? So that being said, the first thing I like to do on all my push-ups is start from a hollow body position. So that just means I tuck my tailbone under and I pre-engage, or my abdominals and my legs are very active in this position. And instead of trying to lower myself down, what I try to do is if there was a imaginary wall like right in front of me here, I'm just going to see how far I can reach for that wall with my head and then come back. And the first reps should always, or the first several reps and sets, I'm only going to a zone that is easy for me to get into, and more importantly, it's easy for me to get out of. Okay, I'm just working a very easy range of motion, and I'm not going to get tired or exhausted on any of these sets, at least in the beginning. All right, so just 3 of those. Those are starting to make me a little tired. So you've seen me maybe do push-ups on these in the past where I have a weight vest, and you might be led to believe that I'm really strong at this. Most of what I do, I choose it for any video. Most of what I do, I choose because I'm not good at it. I have found that by constantly visiting the activities that I am not good at and working on them as best as I can in a very short workout without getting exhausted, just that work makes me better at the things I am good at. So anyway, I'm going to do one more set. Once again, I'm tucking that tailbone under. I don't like, for me, I consider push-ups as well as bench press a back and lat exercise. I don't really concern myself. I shouldn't really feel my shoulders too much when I'm doing this. I'm trying to put as much of this into my lats, and I do that once again by tucking that tailbone under, a strong engagement of my abdominals and core, and I'm focused on moving my head forward rather than lowering myself down. And as I do this, I'm also trying to externally rotate my upper arms and load into my lats. So, okay. So as I'm doing that, my core is getting much more fatigued than my chest and my arms are. I mean, they're working, but what I'm really feeling that come from is my abdominals, and that's what I kind of want to do right now. in between. And by the way, I'm going to digress for a moment. For most of the workouts I do, I don't do cardio, I don't foam roll or stretch. I just do a light version of whatever the exercise I'm going to do is, like I'm doing now. So I'm just choosing the range of motion that is very easy for my body to accommodate. I found that if I do that, my body, my nervous system will trust me to proceed into hopefully deeper and more concerted efforts. One more time. I take a deep breath in through the nose at the top. I pressurize that into my midsection. I tuck my tailbone under. I flare my lats. And I move my head forward rather than concerning myself with going downwards. That's as far as I can go while still being able to get out relatively easily. I'm starting to get tired. Once again, I don't want to get exhausted or tired on any of these sets. I just want to prime the system, prime the muscles, the nervous system. I've been working for at least the last 6 months. I've been working pretty hard on trying to regain my overhead and just my shoulder mobility in general. So all right. Once again, I like to treat push-ups and their variations like lat exercises. I go into a hollow body position, tucking my tailbone under strongly, flaring my lats. Take a deep breath. Take a second breath. Pressurize. Okay, and then I rest. So I don't do a lot of repetitions on most exercises unless they're kettlebell sport movements or whatever. I tend to keep the reps very low, like 3, but I try to make every rep last the duration of 5, 6 or more repetitions done at a regular pace. I guess they call that time under tension. Yeah, I'm trying to build more of a connection between my nervous system and the working structures than trying to condition myself. I found that I recover better that way, and I also adapt better as well. Anyway, one more time. First breath. Pressurize that into the midsection. Let some out on the way down. Take a second breath in through the nose. Pressurize. One thing I didn't mention is as I'm going down, I'm trying to move my head and my body this way. On the way up, rather than pressing my body back to where it came from, I try to hold that position and come up vertically, and then I'll recede back at the top. I found that keeps me on my lats and my core. It's for me much harder to do that, but I also found that if I do that, the return on that investment is much better. I made a video earlier today where I was about mobilizing my knees. So in between upper body work, I like to also just mobilize other joints as well. Okay, one more time. So if you're new to push-ups, I mean, just pretend I don't have these. and I'm on the floor, I'd still do it the same way. You just work in the range of motion that's easy to get into and easy to get out of. First breath, pressurize it. Lats, abs, here we go. I'm gonna move my head that way. Second breath. Using my toes to push me forward, not letting myself recede backwards. Get up high on the toes, and then I can go back to where I came from. I'm going to turn my back for a moment. So, moving the scapula is a good thing to do. I like to keep the scaps moving, because when I'm doing this and almost every upper body exercise that I do, I tend to generate the force for that movement from between my shoulder blades. To me, the shoulder retractors are the muscles that are these guys right here. Those, to me, those muscles are to your upper, to my upper body as my glutes are to my legs. If those are not working hard, and if I don't have strong control over them, then I don't have upper body strength or ability. That's kind of the way I look at them. So let's talk about those muscles here. As I'm up in the hollow position here, tailbone tucked, I'm on my abs, I'm on my lats. As I come forward, I'm trying to sink as much of my weight into the space between my shoulder blades. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my wrists. My left wrist is it's a little damaged from stuff. So I think I've reached the point of what's called my radial deviation, my ability to bend my wrist upwards towards my radius. So now I'm going to turn the handles in at 45 degrees. This gives me a slight advantage. This angle centers me over a larger area of my chest, or at least I feel it does. Okay, and hopefully I can get a little deeper. Here we go. Okay, and this might happen when you're doing push-ups or bench press. My grip was a little narrow there. That pushed me into my wrist a little bit, to a point where I was thinking more about the wrist than what I was doing. So I'm going to make an adjustment, and let's try that one more time. Okay. Like I said, this is my actual workout, and while none of those were really impressive, I'm not getting as deep as I want to go, but I'm also feeling that for today, that's what my body wants to do. If you are younger and you're actually training for something specific, this is not what I'm doing. I'm not recommending this to those individuals. This is just what I do. This is what my metabolism can recover from. And I don't even really call what I'm doing here a workout. I call it a practice of a skill. Just so it's easier to understand, I refer to this as a workout, but I'm actually doing skill work. So I'm gonna go one more time, and I'm just gonna see how deep I can go, and that'll probably be the end of my push-up work on these parallettes. And then I'll go into a little bit of an L sit, which I'm also kind of bad at, but once again, just practicing things you're bad at. Even if the practice session itself sucks, it'll always make you better at the things you're good at. So if you're young, I didn't understand that when I was younger, and I avoided the things I sucked at, and that was a big mistake. Do the things you suck at, and even if the workout sucks, I promise it'll make you better at what you're good at. Okay? All right, here we go. High up on the toes, hollow body, got the lats. My shoulder blades are fully protracted. Deep breath. Pressurize. Okay. All right. Done with that. I like to do the L sit usually after this, because it's, number one, it's convenient. I already have these things out, and it just allows me to get a little bit more work into my core. I also, once again, I use this exercise. It's a pushing, I have to push down hard, but I push down with my lats. I push down with what's behind me like this. I don't push so much with my chest or my shoulders, if at all possible. Okay. So I don't even know the terminology. I think these are called tucks. But so what I'll do is I just start with my feet right in between. And by the way, I sometimes get these really interesting ab cramps when I start doing this. So let's see if that happens. All right. All I'm doing is, once again, I am rounding and flaring my lats and my back to put my weight here. I'm going to try and come out to here. Bring that out. And then see if I can return. Whew. Yeah, that was weak. All right. Once again, shoulder mobility. I'm not trying to move my arms. I'm trying to move my shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades move the arms. I'm not trying to move the arms. I'm trying to move the shoulder blades. If on one day the shoulder blades only want to move to here, then I will honor that until they want to go farther. Okay. One more time. So I load up onto my back, onto my core, and then I'll see if I can extend my legs out in front of me and keep that together for a few seconds. All right, here we go. is the hard part, is getting back. Because my shoulders start to retract as I don't know what gets tired. I just start sagging through, and I can't keep the shoulder blades protracted. But that's okay. In all of my workouts, I'm not trying to defeat anything except my tendency to want to avoid the things that I don't want to do. But in actually practicing those things, I just do the best version of it that I can on that day and at that time, and then I move on. Okay, I think just one more, and literally that'll be the end of my workout. All right, here we go. Rounding my spine, flaring my lats. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, so that exercise puts my hips in extreme flexion, and that tends to bind up or kind of pulls me into that position a bit. So this is my all-time favorite stretch. Just a lunge stretch. This is the anti-sitting stretch, at least for me. It takes my hip flexor in the complete opposite direction it was just going, and then by bracing my left elbow on my right knee and pulling myself into rotation, I get a pretty nice effect. Okay. I like to start that stretch, feet together. I back up into it, and then I'll take up the slack in the front. Tucking my elbow, settling into the position so I'm getting a stretch. Trying to get my spine up as tall as I can. Even looking over my shoulder. I'm just going to be quiet. All right. Okay. I'm sure that's probably a little longer than 20 minutes, but I don't ever set a timer. I just do what I'm going to do. Because I'm talking on this, it took longer than normal, but really I just keep my workouts to about 20, maybe 30 minutes. And then I go in and I enjoy my family and my life. I hope that's what you do as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.